Hello, wonderful person. This is Satek Ananda, the executive shaman. This is my very first time going live ever. Oh my God, it's so scary. What are people gonna think about me? What are people gonna say? My hair looks like shit and I haven't shaved in days. And my scarf is all tattered and shit. I look like a homeless man. Oh my goodness. This is all the stuff that goes through our minds when we try to make a video about anything. And going live is like making a video, but it is somehow different. Going live feels like going live feels like talking to an auditorium of empty seats, and you hope that some of the seats will have something interesting to say or share or have some interesting questions. I don't want to do this like hoping people are going to care or have any questions for me. So I'm going to do this just like a video. I have a lot of wonderful things to share with you guys. I'm going to be on for about an hour now. It's 12:20 Mountain Time right now. And I definitely want your feedback, but it's very hard to read all this shit while you're actually sharing. So I don't have that skill going yet. So if you send me a comment and I miss it, then just send it again, please. This is my very first live, so I don't know how any of this stuff works. There's all these little buttons and stuff. I don't know how to manage it. I know that people like moderators, but I don't know how to do that. If anybody in here knows how to moderate and wants to moderate for me, let me know. I do know that we can invite people to share the space, and I see a little button here for invite, but it keeps moving. So I will invite some of you guys to come in. I do want questions. Once again, my name is Satek Ananda. I'm the executive shaman. I have been teaching healing practices and meditation approaches and shamanic ceremonies for over 15 years now. And my favorite part of it is this ascension that everyone has been talking about for years, and people want to make fun of the woke mob and whatever. This ascension is real, and it is affecting all of us, whether you believe that humanity is evolving or not. It's affecting all of us, and that's why we're all feeling some kind of ways right now. Like everyone I know is feeling some kind of way right now, and it doesn't matter if you have a bunch of money. It doesn't matter if you have a bunch of companies. It doesn't matter if you have an incredible supportive lover. It doesn't matter. Like everyone is feeling confused and lost and annoyed and afraid right now. And it's because of this wave that's coming. Some people call it the Great Reset. You can call it a lot of different things. But in reality, what it is the fabric of our society, the fabric of our norms that we operate on are crumbling. They're literally crumbling. All of the cultural norms that we're used to. Men are supposed to be like this. Women are supposed to be like this. Kids are supposed to be like this. Business is supposed to be like this. All of those things are beginning to crumble. And it can feel frightening. It can feel challenging. But what's important to understand is it is the clearing, what it is, separating the chaff from the wheat, so to speak. And it is giving us opportunities to create new, incredible systems and platforms and cultural norms. That's the opportunity here. I know a lot of people that have lost their job in the last few weeks. I know very successful people that have lost their jobs. I know people that have lost companies. Everybody feels the change that is coming. And so it's better to lean into it. It's better to lean into it. And I've been very inspired by some of the teachers and concepts I've found on TikTok. And I just started posting maybe 4 weeks ago. And I've been very impressed with what posting and putting my content out has done for me and my process. And I've found some clients, and I see that TikTok is a really good megaphone to the world. And it does help you really figure out who you are and what you want to share with the world. So I'm going to start today with The Crystal Connection. If you've never heard of this book, don't feel sad because most people haven't either. But I've read I read the introduction to it on my page, and I did a series about 5 or 6 videos. And the people that have the attention span to listen have been very impressed with it. But it's not easy to read. It's not easy to read. It is a channeled text, And if you don't know what channeling is, that just means someone speaking for someone else, like a spirit, an entity. You can call it an angel, God, like however you conceive of things that are not tangible, speaking to us through a human being. That's what channeling is. If you've ever heard of the law of attraction, that's channeling. If you've ever heard of Bashar, if you've ever heard of the Palladians, if you've ever heard of Jane Roberts and Seth Speaks, all of those are channeled works. This is a channeled book. And what happens, not in all channeled works, but in a lot of channeled works, is that they can be really hard to understand conceptually. They speak in very elevated terms often, and this book definitely does that. I will give you I will give you an example. I'm just going to read a tiny bit because this gets heavy quickly, but it's incredibly valuable. I'm going to read part of the introduction to give you a sense of what this. You keep telling us swipe right for filters. I don't know what that means. Okay, this is just the introduction to the crystal connection, and I'm only going to read a few paragraphs, like maybe two. Reality is crystalline in nature. Herein abides creation's most essential ordering principle, crystalline in nature. For all light, all life, all intelligence is coded crystallinity. The overriding importance of the crystal connection is its universal interconnecting properties. The systematic coherence of all energy interactions throughout the cosmos depends upon the highly ordered, communicative interlinkage of coded crystalline matrices. Fundamentally, this is how creation works, for universal intelligence functions upon code principles. Like code selectively interacts with like code. This is how the universal mind creates and maintains its differentiated integrity, as well as its holographic wholeness. Every part is selectively linked with other parts, and the whole via the crystallinity principle. This preeminent principle functions as the codified, multidimensional media through which universal intelligence operates. That's one paragraph. And to sum that up, it's basically saying that the entire universe is a fractal, a crystalline fractal, from the top down, as above, so below. And it's explaining that that fractal operates through light codes that span the entire thing. Second paragraph. Quartz crystals and other precious stones are matrixed means. A matrix is just like a grid. Are matrix means by which the crystalline codes of personal and planetary consciousness are collectively interlinked with the higher light dimensions in an amplified, coherent manner. Physical plane crystals can be viewed as the materialized end of a broad interdimensional spectrum of crystalline matrices, originating on the higher planes of thought and extending through the many celestial and cosmic octaves into the realm of materiality. Starts at the top, works its way down. Not only can quartz and other crystals function as energy amplifiers. Where did we go? Amplifiers, transformers, capacitors, modifiers, and focusers within the boundaries of Earth's energy field, but also more important, they serve as physical plane link-up points with the next higher dimensional octave of universal crystallinity. So it's basically saying that crystals are a vortex to connect us to other dimensions, dimensions of energy, dimensions of thought. And because this book is channeled and we were just talking about that, I would like to tell you the most important thing that's ever happened to me with these crystals. I use crystals in healing. I teach people how to actually feel them. If you have some, you can go get them right now and I will teach you how to feel them in a minute. But the most important thing I've ever done with them is use them, hold them while I was meditating. And many, many years ago, I was reading this very book, The Crystal Connection, and it got to a place, I think it's 2, maybe 3 chapters in, it talked about the 10 Commandments. And it talked about them in a very loving way, like the 10 Commandments is the answer to all of your problems. And I have never liked the 10 Commandments. And I was raised in a Southern Baptist family. And although I saw the beauty of the message of Jesus, I saw a lot of dogma. I saw a lot of judgment. I saw a lot of abuse, emotional and religious abuse. And it really took me out of the game of what this book was meant to do. This was written by two people, a husband and wife couple, and one of them, I don't know which, I can't remember which one of them became like a evangelical Christian after they wrote this book. Um, and so I think I was feeling that energy, but I was very not moved by this point it was making about the Ten Commandments. And in this meditation, I was holding my crystals in a way I'd never hold them before. Usually I hold them facing each other like that in my hands very closely, and it ends up making a field, and you can feel that field. For whatever reason, this day I did it like this, going from my right hand into my left hand. And I asked the universe, I literally asked the universe, why am I so resistant to the Ten Commandments? And what the universe said to me directly, this was probably the first time I think I've ever consciously understood that I was channeling, consciously understood that I'm really receiving tangible information right now because I asked for it, because I opened myself. And what the universe said to me was that the Ten Commandments were written a very, very long time ago for people and societies that don't exist now. The circumstances that were there when the Ten Commandments were written do not exist anymore. And it said so. Oh wait, invite to join live, accept. No idea. Hello. Whoa. Good Lord. Can you turn your music down? Can you turn your music
Hey,
down?
buddy.
Hello. Hel-
10 years old.
Hello. Who is this?
8 meses.
Hello. Now I don't even know how to get rid of them.
No.
I've got. We'll
Super.
mute them and mute them. I don't even know how to get rid of them. If anybody knows how to get rid, I think two people logged in like accidentally, and I don't know how to get rid of them. There's a plus. There's a plus. Oh, that just made me follow him. Sorry, guys. All right, we'll just leave them on there then. More, maybe. How do I get these out of here? Yeah, I knew this would happen. If anybody listening knows how to get rid of people once they're in, because these people aren't even listening, but they ask to be invited in. I don't know how to get rid of them. Boom. Nope, just following. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Sorry,
Hey, are you there?
so my bad.
Are you there, brother? Can you hear me?
Huh? Yes, I
Can
can.
you hear me? Awesome.
Yes, I can.
Awesome. This is my very first time doing live, and I saw that somebody wanted in, so I just invited you in. I don't even know like what I'm doing. What's your name, bro?
Same here. Same here. Trust me.
Awesome. What's your name?
Malik.
Malik.
Yeah.
Malik. Nice to meet you, bro. What made
Nice
you
to meet you
ask
too,
to be
my friend.
invited in?
Huh?
What made you ask to be invited into the live?
To be honest with you, I was trying to send you guys an invite to watch my live. I'm playing some music, while on the road, And actually, this is my daughter's TikTok, so. And when she saw she's online, she's throw the phone on me. So.
Oh my God, that's great. Okay, so she was
Uh,
messing around. It just popped up and it said so and so wants to, be
Exactly,
invited, and so
exactly.
I
And
hit the
that
button,
game, we
and
had
now I
we're
don't
having
even.
a good time. So happy New Year to you guys, and wish y'all all the best in the 2023.
Happy New Year to you, bro. Do you want to chat for a minute, or do you got to take care of business?
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine, man. Where
Awesome.
where you from?
You mean originally, or where am I right now?
Originally, and where you at?
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, originally. Right now,
Wow,
I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado, working with a client.
wow. To get in that cold weather now, the
Oh,
snow.
it was insane. It was insane last week. It was insane. So where are you from, brother?
I am from Texas, but I'm originally from Jordan.
Jordan. And where is
And
Jordan?
whoever reporting my live, I am not I'm driving, but I'm not holding the phone. I'm holding the steering wheel.
Uh-oh. We lost your audio. Can you still hear me? We lost your audio. Yeah, it looks like somebody reported you. It popped up on. Oh, there you are. It looked like somebody reported you, but I didn't know why, and I removed it. And I guess it was because you're driving. They didn't think that was safe.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm driving, but I'm not holding the phone, and
Got you.
I'm looking where I'm supposed to be looking.
Got you. Awesome. Well, let
I'm
me.
looking on the street, so I don't know. People sometimes. Yeah, I live in Texas, Houston, and I'm originally from Jordan.
Beautiful. And what is your passion in life?
Owner operator, truck driver,
Say that again.
in the trucking business.
You
The trucking
you
business.
are a truck driver,
Yeah.
and
Yes, sir.
do you love that job, or does it kill your soul? Some people love it.
Absolutely. It's a hard job. It's a challenging job, but it's living. You can make a good living. You can make a good living of it.
You can't. Is that what you said?
But I do local. I stay, in Houston and the surrounding areas, like 100 miles radius, and that's it. That's about it.
Beautiful. My father was a trucker for 20 years. So we're losing your connection, bro. We're losing your connection.
Yeah, I'm in a kind of I'm in a kind of bad area, like reception wise. So
Right on. Well, let me let you get out of here, and it was lovely to meet you. And I'll come and follow your page. I'll
yes,
check
sir,
out your next
absolutely,
live,
and happy
man.
New Year to you and everybody who's watching, man. Happy New Year.
Awesome, thank you. So you'll have to log out because I don't know how to log you out. So
Me
sorry.
too. All right. Yeah, I don't know how to look.
All right,
All
brother.
right, no worries. Thanks. We're gonna figure it out. All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye bye. Okay, so I obviously have a lot of learning to do. Does anybody in here know? Oh, there's only one person in here. Does anybody know how to get rid of someone that's joined? Because I don't see any buttons for that. I don't see any buttons for that. I'm gonna have to go do the TikTok class, the TikTok live class. All right, I'll just leave them up here. You can stay in here with me. Okay, so the point that I was making, back to it, is I was holding these crystals while I was meditating. And what happened to me was that the universe literally started speaking to me. And it said that the 10 Commandments were created for people a long time ago, different culture, different time, and that it doesn't resonate with the younger people of the world. The younger people, I am Gen X. I was born in 75. The millennials are like 85, I guess. And then I don't even know what they call them after the millennials. As those generations have gone, more I think than our forefathers, we have moved away from the structures that were given to us, that were forced upon us. He disconnected. Okay. I'm at 0 now. That was a good experiment. We'll call that. We'll call it. All right. Who just joined? Say Sabrine, Gen Z. You're Gen Z too. If you can join me, I'd love to talk to you, Miss Gen Z. I don't know how to invite you. This is my first time doing a live. Yeah, that's follow. And I don't know if you have to have 1,000 people to even join a live, like you might. But yeah, so the 10 Commandments do not work for the younger generation at large. I'm not telling you that no young people don't love it. I could feel that on the whole, our generation and the kids younger than us didn't really connect with the 10 Commandments. And so I asked the universe, I think we need new commandments. I was wondering, like, what would be the new commandments? And what hit me was very, very profound. And it came through very clearly. I was holding my crystals and meditating. And what came through was, Thou art whole. And I got filled with tingles in my body. Thou art whole was the first thing it said to me. The second thing it said to me was, Thou art fractal. And I got tingles all over my body. And I'm ADD as shit, and thoughts are always coming and going, and I always have trouble remembering the last thought I had, no matter how important or powerful it is. One of the things that let me know this was actual channeling was that though each phrase that was given to me was emblazoned, like I could not forget it. Thou art whole was number one. Thou art fractal was number two. Number three was thou art aware. And my whole body filled with tingles again. Three is thou art aware. Number four, thou art free. Tingles everywhere. And then finally, number five, thou art eternal. And it stopped. And I was waiting. I was like, but I thought we were going to get 10 new commandments. And it was like, that's all you need. And so I call it the 5 new commandments. Thou art whole. Thou art fractal. Thou art aware. Thou art free. Thou art eternal. It was the very first time I ever channeled in a way that I knew I was channeling. I was holding my favorite Lemurian quartz crystals. And as I just read in this book, crystals are physical plane link-up points. That's backwards, isn't it? Yep, sorry. Physical crystals are link-up points to multidimensional energy and consciousness. And like I said, normally I would hold them like this, but this day I was holding them like this, completing a circuit. And at this point, I realized that I was holding them differently. So I reversed them like this, and what happened was I could not remember these commandments at all. And I would try, and I would really reach, and I would start to be able to remember one, and then it would go away. It was like I had erased my hard drive. It was crazy. So then I switched it back, and immediately I could see and hear very clearly all 5 of those commandments. And so when I came out, I wrote them down, and I am going to have to teach a course on it someday or something, the 5 new commandments. But this was an absolute game changer for me, because I realized what happened was this was recording my experience like to a record. Okay. This is going through a very specific channel in my body. Meridians, nadis, like whatever you want to call them. The Hindus have their names, and the Chinese have their names. But what happened is this was going through very specific channels in my body, and it was recording the information there. When I reversed it, it was like playing the other side of a record. I could not find the information that was so obvious and clear and burned into my brain. When I flipped it back, there was the information again. This is where it was recorded. Okay, so crystals are one of the most important tools of awakening, of shamanic experience, of tapping in to multidimensional experience, tapping into your guides, tapping into angels, tapping into source that I've ever experienced, but you have to use them. You can't just put them on a shelf and like they're pretty. You have to actually use them, okay? Now, my most viewed video is called How to Feel Your Crystals. You can go to my page and look it up, but I'm going to teach you guys how to do it right now. If you have crystals, go and get them right now. These are Lemurians, and I love Lemurians because they're really clear. They're not like this is a not clear one. That's a fuzzy one, right? But Lemurians are typically really clear, and they have these lines on the sides, and these lines are information. They're information, like Morse code is just dots, but. These are literally information, and it's the record of the Earth when this was being born. Just like geologists can read the layers of strata in sand or rock deposits, these carry information, but more importantly than that, they are transducers of information. And so the way that it works is, you know what, fiber optic cable, right? So this is like fiber optic cable. What makes a crystal is that all of the molecules are perfectly symmetrical. I believe it's a hexagonal shape. They're all perfectly symmetrical. And when one vibrates, just like a tuning fork, the others vibrate in perfect unison. And no energy is lost in the translation. Now the broken end, this ends up being like a satellite dish. This receives energy information. This is where everything comes in. It then gets conducted through this fiber optic cable and condensed to a point. And it comes out here like a laser, but it's not physical light and it's not coarse electricity. It's subtle energy. You can call it prana, you can call it chi, you can call it ki. Doesn't matter what you call it, it's energy. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys how to feel this so it's not a concept, it's real. I've been teaching this for years. I've done it in auditoriums full of people. Occasionally one person can't get it, and I've heard certain crystals it doesn't work as well with, but most crystals it'll work. Do you have your crystals? Okay, preferably Lemurians. What I want you to do is hold them in both hands lightly in your fingertips, okay? Almost like you're going to drop them. All right, we don't want any tension in the body because tension blocks the flow of energy, it blocks sensation. And then what I want you to do is hold them about 6 inches apart like this. And really, really slowly, I want you to let them get closer. And this can often work better if you imagine that they're magnets. It can help you tap into what you're feeling a little bit deeper, but you're just going to let them get closer and closer. And right about here, my head starts to tingle and get hot. And then right about there, I start to feel like it feels like a magnet. It's literal magnetic polarity. And this is why holding it gently in your fingertips is important, because you won't necessarily feel that polarity if you're gripping tightly. But if you're gripping softly, it's like a pulse. It's like two magnets that don't want to touch. See how close you can get them without actually touching, and then just explore that space very gently, okay? This is just the beginning. We got more advanced stuff coming. And if you don't think this stuff is real, go to How to Feel Your Crystals on my page and look at the comments. Look at all the people talking about what they feel, all right? Beautiful. Now, once you can feel that connection, what we're going to do is we're going to bring that connection from in front of us. We're going to bring it all the way into the third eye. So you're going to gently let both float towards. My eyebrows are already tingling. My ears are tingling. You're going to come in towards your third eye. And then you're going to let them split. And you're going to bring them on either side of your head, letting them meet in the center. So I feel pressure in the front of my face. You're going to come all the way gently, slowly to the back of your head. And then very gently and slowly come all the way back to the front. I feel pressure in my sinuses. And then slowly let them come back together in front. Boom. Awesome. Now, if you have your crystals and you tried that, hit me in the comments. Let me know if you could feel that. I've been working with crystals for 15 years. I started out literally sleeping. I held them in my sleep. And when I would wake up, my body would feel electrified. Like my skin would feel crunchy. I called it crunchy, kind of like popcorn. And I would have to put them down. I would then sleep with them on my third eye and my heart, sometimes on the root. And they have continued to teach me in ways I could not have ever imagined. And sharing what these are capable of has become really important in my life. And for that video, I think it's got 13,000 views or something, which is not much for big TikTok people, but for my content, that's like crazy. And it all happened in a couple of days. It's obvious that sharing, it's obvious to me that sharing these is really important. Oh, you're going to try when you get home? Awesome. Thank you, Sky. You can go to my page and look for How to Feel Your Crystals. There's 3 series. please do all 3 of them and reach out. Let me know what you feel. It's really, like, crystals are amazing. So this is one level of what I teach. Another level of what I teach is just energy work itself, Qigong. I also have a series on how to feel your qi, how to feel your energy. And so the same stuff that you feel when you work with crystals, you can do that with just your hands. You don't need the crystals. The crystals just amplify the experience, okay? So to give you a demonstration of that, in case you don't have crystals with you, and you can't do this if you're driving, but if you're not, let's do a demonstration right now how to feel your chi. I know you guys have seen people in lives waving their hands, doing all this stuff, and they call it Reiki. They're like pulling stuff out of you. That's a real thing. They're really messing with energy, and I very rarely watch those people for very long because I can feel what they're doing, especially when they're doing this kind of shit and they're pulling, and it's like I feel things in me start to pull, and it's like, wait, I didn't ask you to come into my field and start pulling shit for me. And some of them will say, if you're in here, please be open to receiving, which is good because you should always have permission to mess with anybody's consciousness or energy or field. But if you do what I'm about to show you, which is not me doing anything to you, I'm going to show you how to feel your own energy. You'll get what's happening when these people are doing all this stuff at the camera, and you'll watch and there'll be 1,000 people just watching them, right? So real quick, rub your hands together and make heat. Make them hot. You feel heat? Good. Now stop and notice what happens to the heat. You can feel it dissipate. Do you feel it moving into your body or do you feel it moving out? Either way is fine because it's actually going in both directions. Once you can feel that subtleness, I want you to hold your hands up in front of you about 6 inches apart. Arms, shoulders relaxed, wrists, fingers, everything's relaxed. And all we're going to do is just like with the crystals, we're going to let the hands float together slowly and gently. The slower you move and the softer your body is, the more you feel. Right here, I'm already getting tingles in my shoulders. I feel pressure in my head now. And we're going to get closer and closer and just notice what that space feels like as it condenses. Yes, it does help to clap. That is a classic Qigong exercise. Thank you, Natalie. See how close you can get them without actually touching. Right about there. Beautiful. And now you're just going to do a very small, very gentle circle, like you're washing your hands. Remember, the slower you move, if you move like this, you're not going to feel anything. If you move really slowly, you'll realize that, wait a second, my hands are aware of each other. Like I can feel something. Like my fingertips feel different than the palm. And the palm feels different than the thumb. Like there's these different feelings of pressure, of heat, of tingles. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to do what we call pulsing. You're going to push in gently and release. Push gently and release. And notice where you feel the center of that connection. Where does it get the strongest? For me, it's like right there. And it feels like a fluffy field. Like a magnetic field to me. Some people feel tingles, some people feel heat. There's no right or wrong way to feel it. Okay? So now once you have an awareness of that, now we're going to breathe through that awareness. So with the hands together, we're going to inhale, letting the hands expand gently. And then we're going to exhale, letting the hands contract gently. You're going to let the hands breathe like a bellows. Inhale, expanding. Exhale, contracting. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Thank you guys for the likes. I forgot to talk about that. This is my first time going live. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Awesome. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of more exercises, and then I want to kick it to the group, and I want to talk about what you guys are feeling. Okay, so both hands float over each other, not touching, floating over the heart. And imagine a pillar of light coming out of your heart, going through both palms. Just visualize that light. And what we're going to do is we're going to let the hands tumble forward very slowly. I'm starting to sweat, and it's not hot here. We're going to let the hands tumble forward very slowly, and I just want you to pay attention to what they feel like as they move through space. And then you can imagine winding this light coming out of your heart, winding it up like taffy. My chest is getting hot. My forehead feels like it's expanding. My fingertips are tingling. You're welcome, Gloria. Thank you. Very slowly wind this taffy up. And what you'll notice is the slower you move, the stronger, the thicker that taffy becomes. Sassy Saturday. Beautiful. Now I just want to do a demonstration for you so you can see how important slowness is to Qigong and Tai Chi. We're going to do that same motion, but speed it up. And then speed it up even more. And then even faster. So what's happening now is we are building up a charge, but because we're moving so much, I don't feel the space in the same way. I feel my muscles, I feel the inside of my body, but I don't feel the space, right? So now slow down again, really slow. And then the space becomes really thick. You can't help but be aware of that space when you move slow. Beautiful. All right, last one. You're going to let your hands float down by your sides, or they can even be in your laps, palms facing up. And what we're going to do is we're going to let the hands float up slowly and gently, like helium balloons. Just let them float up slowly and gently. They're going to float up to the face. Hello, whoever is being invited or wants to come in. If you can give me a second, I would love to let you in, but I need to finish this exercise, and then I'd love to talk to you. Hands floating up slowly and gently. And I want you to notice when your hands start to be aware of your face and when your face becomes aware of your hands. It'll happen sooner than you think. For me, it's like really obvious something's happening. I feel like a heat lamp, like I'm in a tanning bed or something. And the hands are going to keep coming closer and closer. My nasal cavity is tickling. I feel like I might sneeze. And you're just going to see how close you can get your hands to your face without actually touching. Beautiful. Now explore the shape of your face without actually touching it. Very slowly, very gently. Anybody that's trying to come in, I will help you out in just a second. This is the last exercise. We're going to explore that face slowly and gently. For me, it feels like heat. Hold on a second, Omran. Notice that the temples feel different than the eye sockets, feels different than the cheeks, feels different than the third eye. All right, now here's my favorite part, and then I'll field some questions from you guys. You're going to imagine that field that you're feeling. Imagine that connection, and we're going to let it stretch out like taffy as the hands slowly sink back down like helium balloons. Let that connection stretch out. It feels like my face is expanding and draining. That's such an awesome feeling. Hands come all the way back down to your lap. Awesome. Okay, beautiful. If you have any questions about that, what you felt, if you'd like to share something, put it in the comments for me. And somebody was trying to get in here, so let's see if this will work. I don't even know how to get rid of people once they get in here. Oh, wait, hold on. Pen Wunnel. I can feel my face draining all the bad stuff. Wow. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you, Sky. All right, I'm going to, let's see. Joe Boxer asked to come in. Can invite sent. How do I get full control of my consciousness? Taliban's, that's a really fucking powerful question, brother. That's a really fucking powerful question. I'm going to take a second. Oh, my face is hot. I love it. How do I get full control of my consciousness that's a mythic. Hold on one second, Joe Boxer. I'm answering a question and then did you go away? He went away. So the answer is that you don't. You don't ever get full, complete control of your consciousness. But what is possible is to increase your ability to control your consciousness. And the way that you do that is through awareness. Okay. Anything that helps you focus awareness will increase your power in terms of how you can influence and affect consciousness. You can't ever control all of it because everything is consciousness, and that would make you God and Lord of everything. And that's not how this is designed. This game was designed as a co-creation of all of the tiny pieces of consciousness that were birthed from the whole consciousness. And the entire game is to expand our consciousnesses. And each consciousness, and this is based on many different channel texts, each consciousness eventually becomes its own entire universe, right? But the game is not to control all of it. The game is awareness. The game is to get deeper and deeper aware of who you are, of what you're doing, of the effect you have on yourself and the effect that you have on others. And as we do that, our frequency raises more and more and more. Okay. So perception, knowledge, and acceptance. Yes, exactly. It's all about awareness. It's all about awareness, and yes, definitely about understanding, but not. It's not about a conscious understanding. It's not about a logical understanding. It's about an intuitive, heartfelt understanding. It's about an emotional connection. Yes, Jesus is very good at raising awareness. He's an ascended master. There have been very few humans that have ever taught the level of teaching that he's teaching, but what Christianity has done with his message hurts my heart deeply. So thank you for that question, Taliban's. Anybody else questions? And if you want to jump in here for a convo, I'm open to that. You'll have to tell me how it works, though. I don't know how all these buttons work. What does that get your understanding from the Holy Spirit? This is mental accent, though. Well, that's great if you're trying to convert people to Christianity, but not everybody wants to be Christian. There's a lot of ways to get to the top of the hill. I know Christians don't believe that, but hills have been around much longer than Jesus. There's a lot of ways. One of my favorite sayings is, though there are many paths at the foot of the mountain, all those who reach the top gaze upon the same moon. What's that? It's a shame I have to attack. I'm not attacking anything. I'm not attacking anything. Is that what you think? How God is contacting? Ask that in another way, Taliban's. I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm not sure what you're asking. Is what how I think God is contacting? Is what? Oh, not you, the Christian woman. Oh, sorry. You were talking. I don't know which one. There are a couple of Christian stuff in here. I was raised Christian, y'all. I don't, I get Jesus, but the dogma is okay. We're gonna take a second. Y'all brought Jesus up. All right, we're gonna take a second to talk about religious abuse. We're gonna talk about spiritual abuse, and I want y'all to hold space for this because I might get a little emotional here, but I have nothing against Christ. I love Jesus. I've been hired to play him. I'm on the wall of a hospital somewhere as Jesus, okay? Like I'm down with what he represented, with the message he was bringing. But what the tradition has brought to his message has been immensely destructive. Murder, rape. If you read the Old Testament, people selling their children, and my mother was raised in a Baptist family, and they judged her and oppressed her whole life. And she ended up bipolar, unable to maintain any relationships in her life because she was so sensitive to judgment because she had grown up inside of it. Okay. And almost all of the children of that Southern Baptist family, they're all spiritual. Almost none of them consider themselves Christians because they were too wounded. They were too wounded by not Jesus, by Christianity, by the dogma of beliefs. You have to think what I think. And if you don't think what I think, you're wrong. And I'm going to judge you and I'm going to talk to you about hell and whatever. That's old stuff, guys. That's old stuff. Like nobody is interested in that anymore. And if you look at the attendance levels of all traditional religions, they're all going like this. All of them, right? And it's because those old patterns of talking at people and telling them what they're supposed to believe is not working anymore. My generation, and especially those under my generation, don't care about your dogma. And so we have to look beneath the dogma and go, what is the real message? What is the real purpose of spirituality? And that's my interest. What is the real purpose of spirituality? It's not to get you to believe something. I'm not here trying to convince you that crystals are your answer, right? The real purpose of spirituality is to figure out who you are yourself, is to figure out why you judge yourself. Why can't you accept yourself? Why can't you love yourself? And when you do that, you step into a new version of being. And that version is spiritual ascension. No matter what you believe, you can do it if you're Buddhist, you can do it if you're Muslim, you can do it if you're, Baha'i, you can do it if you're Christian. But the idea that you have to believe this one thing in order to know who you are is just not true. It's not real. It's not real. Okay. So if anybody has any thoughts about that, I'm happy to have that conversation, or we can move on to better and more beautiful things. And I would love to talk if anybody wants to hop in here. I don't know how to do it. Unite and support, one love another. Put in mind, it's better to give than to receive. Thank you. Positive only. Thank you, brother. It's really, I mean, the message was love. The message is love and forgiveness. That was Jesus's message. Love and forgiveness. Accept everyone. Forgive everyone. And even just saying it right now makes me tingle. Like I can feel that in my body. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I believe the unity of all of our consciousness is God proving himself. Yes, brother. Thank you. That's beautiful. Love and light energy only. Well, you do have to make room for darkness. Darkness is a part of the game, and we can talk about that next. The Catholic Church pushed you away from Christianity. Thank you, Sky. I know many Catholics, and almost none of them consider themselves Catholics anymore. They have a lockdown on dogma. Can you talk more about how empathy helps us to experience what we see on screen, like energy? Oh, are you seeing energy? That's awesome. I don't physically see it with my eyes, but I've known people that do see energy. So empathy, thank you for that question. Empathy is a superpower. Okay. And I believe we all have that ability, even narcissists, even, people on the spectrum, even, Asperger's, whatever. I believe we all have that ability because we all have mirror neurons. We have neurons in our mind that mimic whatever we see. And it's our ability to be open to feeling that creates that empathic connection. Christy the healer, I'm gonna invite you in. We'll see how this works. Invite sent. Empathy was tough for me because I spent a good 20-25 years as a narcissist. I consider myself a recovered egomaniac. If you know anything about my story, it makes perfect sense. I was literally an only child abandoned by both parents. I was a circus bastard, literally. I grew up in the Ringling Brothers Circus. So it makes perfect sense that I would have to focus on myself because no one else was. And I was talking to a client recently, and she's a recovered narcissist as well. And it is something you can recover from. If you're narcissistic, it's not like a handicap. You're not stuck that way forever. I mentioned this narcissism to her, and she said, narcissism is a trauma response. And, she's driving. Okay, no problem. No problem. Narcissism is a trauma response. And I stopped in my tracks, and I was like, how have I never heard that before? And I've mentioned it to other people, and other people are familiar with the concept that narcissism is a trauma response. And I've been feeling into it for months now. And every part of me agrees with her. Every part of me feels like narcissism is a protection mechanism. And what I discovered about it is that being an egomaniac was way easier and way more comfortable than being empathic, than feeling empathy for others, than actually feeling what other people are feeling. And through meditation, we got to accept somebody's wanting to meditation. I accidentally discovered that I wasn't the center of the universe. And it felt incredible. And as I started to open and realize, oh shit, I'm actually an empath. I thought I was a narcissist, but I'm actually an empath. And the narcissism was a protection mechanism between me that I feel all around me, right? And I've been practicing and teaching meditation and spiritual processes for almost 20 years now. And what I've unequivocally come to the attention or come to the realization of is that empathy is fucking hard. It's hard. It hurts, you know? And unlike selfishness or egomania, you don't get to control it. If you're narcissistic, you can control how you're feeling and when. And I was very good at controlling how I felt and when. And I had many girlfriends call me, a Vulcan. You're a robot. You don't get to choose when and what you feel if you're really open to empathy. And a few times I've remembered how much easier narcissism was and been like, well, maybe I need to turn that button back on, because caring about how people feel is exhausting. It's exhausting. And I am on the spectrum. I don't know what you guys know about that, but I realized that when I was like 30, 35 or something like that. And I am ADHD. And I have fibromyalgia, which is a hypersensitivity of the nervous system. So I feel everything. I feel people's thoughts. I feel people's feelings. I feel people's wounds. I feel people's shadows, And one of the reasons I've always struggled with like surface level talk, like social chit chat or whatever, it's always made me uncomfortable because I don't understand the point of it. But as soon as anyone is ready to get real and get honest with me, like I can talk to anybody. Yes, I found myself withdrawing from large groups of people because I get overwhelmed. Amen. It's totally exhausting. Thank you. But we don't want to give up on it, okay? And I've never given up on the empathy that I've discovered by letting go of my narcissistic focuses. That empathy, guys, that's why we're here, is to connect with each other and to be willing to hold space and feel with each other. I mean, someone was talking about Jesus earlier. That was the whole Jesus thing, is that he was willing to suffer with you. I am willing to feel what you're feeling. And empathy is our doorway into that level of being. So thank you very much for that empathy question. Do you have to shield yourself because of that? Very good question. Shielding is a very real thing. And I'm gonna give you guys a story, a real story about shielding. Shielding is a very real thing, but it's not the answer to all of your problems, because shielding is cutting you off from your environment and your circumstances. And we're not here to protect ourselves from those. We're here to learn from them, to co-create with them, and to grow with them. So if you need to shield yourself in certain moments, do, but don't think that shielding yourself like every day and multiple times a day and whatever, that's not the answer. Okay, so my shielding story. I've got a lot of these really ridiculous out there stories that a lot of people won't believe, but it's okay. I don't need you to believe it. I lived it. We went to a movie. My girlfriend and I went to a movie, and we took the kids. They're teenagers. So there was about 5 of us. And it was a horror movie. Like, I enjoy a good horror movie, It was a horror movie that has been hailed as like this, like it's an auteur, it's a film, it's like real whatever. I'm not even going to tell you guys the name of it, because it's a good film, it's a good like acting, good writing, whatever, but it's the most satanic film I've ever seen in my life. Like, the end of the thing is like a witch, seance, like whatever, and Satan wins, and then the movie's over, and it's like, what the fuck? So we go to this movie, and my son was in town. And we go into our row, and we had 5 or so seats in the row. And the last of our seats is at the end of the row, but there's 1 seat left, okay? And there was a dude sitting in it. I let my son sit on my left side, my girlfriend's on the right, the rest of the kids are that way. And as my son sits down, right next to this dude, who's already got his thing kicked back up, and he's got his fucking bare feet out. He took his shoes and his socks off. And I can feel that his energy is giddy, because he knows this is a dark, kind of movie. and I can feel his energy. And I was very concerned about my son sitting next to this dude and absorbing his energy. It was sort of like meth head energy, right? And several times in the movie, like he would giggle when nobody else was giggling and stuff. Like it was really creepy. So before the movie started, I realized, oh, I'm thinking about the movie and I'm like, oh, there's going to be a lot of darkness in here. There's going to be a lot of people that are seeking darkness in here. And I could feel this dude was one of them. So I literally cast a shield around our whole group, all 5 or 6 of us. All you got to do is just imagine a white bubble, and you just be very specific about what you want that bubble to protect you from. And in this case, this bubble was going to protect all of us from receiving any darkness from this film. If you know anything about entities, they are everywhere like parasites, and they will connect to you in any way they can. They're in books, they're in movies, they're in songs. A lot of musicians have sold their souls and are feeding stuff to you. So I'm aware of that. And so I did this bubble to protect us. And we watched the movie. It is a good film, like it's a good story, good characters, whatever. But the ending made us all sick to our stomachs. Don't ever want to watch it again. We walk out, everybody's like, yeah, it was okay, but the ending was creepy or whatever. We go back home, and she has a younger son. At this time, he was 13 or 14. He did not come to the movie with us. Everybody spent the night. It was like a slumber party. Everybody spent the night, and in the morning, I asked, did anybody have any negative dreams? Did anybody have any nightmares connected to this movie? And no one had any problems. But her youngest son had a nightmare. And in the nightmare, there was a severed human head covered with ants. That's a scene in the movie, y'all. It's a scene in the movie. This girl's brother or something gets the head cut off, and there's a close shot with ants all over this severed head. And he had a nightmare about it. He wasn't there. I didn't include him in the shield, in the protective bubble. But whatever was coming through that movie connected to the bubble and clamped onto him when we got home. And I had to literally talk him down the next night because he wouldn't go to sleep. And his mom talked to him for an hour, and I had to come in and talk him through it. And we got over his fear to answer whatever. So that's shielding. Like, it's very real, but you don't want to live your life inside of a bubble protecting yourself from everything. What do you listen to when you meditate? Ooh, good question. So I've been teaching meditation for a very long time, and I don't teach people to listen to music, and I don't teach people to depend on guided meditations. And I will do guided meditations with my students, but then it's up to them to practice. If you are going to listen to something, do nature sounds, rain, waves, birds, like forest sounds. Do something like that. You can use really awesome like yogic, sitar, didgeridoo, shamanic drums. That kind of stuff is very, very helpful. But please don't approach meditation like it's the sound, like you have to have the right sound, or you have to have someone guiding you. That's not what it's about. What meditation is really about is learning to be aware of yourself, learning to control your experience of your own mind. And the more you practice, the better you get at it. And as you learn to control your experience of your mind, you control that mind in external reality better and better and better. When I started meditating, one of the first things that I noticed, I've been angry about traffic my whole life. Like even as a kid, it annoyed me. And then I would cuss at people and get all angry and everything. And after meditating for like a couple of weeks, I just caught myself in rush hour traffic at a standstill and realized I'm not angry. I just realized I'm not angry at all. And I have no idea why, right? The reason is I was fabricating that anger inside of myself. And by practicing fabricating peace inside of myself, I started fabricating peace inside of myself in every situation. And all these things that used to be, challenging to me stopped being challenging. How long have you been meditating? Thank you for the question. Almost 20 years now. My son is 19, and I started when he was about 6 months old, and I've been doing it every day for almost 20 years now. What do you think about the healing frequencies that you find on YouTube? Very good question. Some people really love frequencies and they love their numbers and they think certain numbers are better than other ones. I don't have that kind of hierarchical belief about frequencies. All frequencies are true. Sound is true. And truth can always be used to take yourself deeper into truth. So, any two gongs, they're going to be different frequency gongs. Do I think one of those gongs is better than the other one? No, I don't. You hit the gong and you listen to the sound, and what it does is it does this to your mind. Boom. And that works with any frequency gong, right? So the importance of those frequencies that you're asking about is which ones feel best to you. Does 36.9 or whatever you're talking about, does that one feel best to you? Or does 600, I can't remember what the Schumann frequency of the earth is, that one like tends to make everybody feel calm. The really important thing is to pay attention to how things feel to you rather than believing what anybody else says about them. And that includes all the things I'm sharing today. Like if you don't vibe with what I'm saying, drop it. like we're in a new day and age. It's not about any one person's perspective. It's about us connecting with our own truths and really learning how to live that. I totally agree. Practice as you grow into the person you are trying to be. Thank you. Changes your whole world. Beautiful. Thank you, Mamam. Mamam024. Any other questions? And if anybody wants to hop in here, I'm still trying to figure out how this stuff works. So I don't know how to invite you, but if you invite yourself or you ask to join, I'll be happy to let you in. Mamam. Oh, mom. Oh, nice. Nice. And if you guys have other questions, I'm happy to answer. Or we can go ahead and wrap this up because I am starting to get hungry. But this is my very first live. So thank you guys for the likes. Got 3.4 thousand likes. That's awesome. Thank you. At one point, we were up to 200 viewers. Of course, that's when I had the crystals. The crystals just draw people in. Like I had the crystals on the screen and I watched the numbers just go up immediately. That was ridiculous. Untethered Souls is a wonderful book for learning to be the observer of your thoughts. It is an incredible book. I haven't finished it yet, but I've had it for years. Everybody I know that reads the whole thing loves it. It's an incredible book. Grateful for your inspiration. Thank you. Wonderful first live. Thank you. It was a lot of fun. I got to figure out how this stuff works, though, because somebody got in and I couldn't even get them off. I was like, I don't even know how to hang up on people. I'll join next live for some questions. Thank you so much. Conor McGregor something. What do I eat? Oh, that's a that's a personal question. Good Lord. Happy New Year to you too, my mom. I eat better now than I ever have in my life. I grew up on junk food. I wanted everything to taste like peanut butter and jelly and Kool-Aid. McDonald's, pizza every night. Now I eat mostly like healthy stuff, like a lot of salads, a lot of fish, a lot of chicken. I have maybe like one hamburger a month or something. But I really love salads and I really love fruit. That's all I eat for breakfast is fruit every day. Grapes, apples, bananas, pineapple. I love pineapple. So I'm kind of like a fruitarian that eats chicken and fish. Don't believe everything you think. Thank you, Master Self. Amen. The thoughts are our only obstacle, guys. The thoughts are your only obstacles. Without thought, you're automatically connected to everything. You weren't trying to get that deep. No problem. But I get it. And I feel bad when people I'm teaching see me, eating a hamburger or drinking a beer and I can feel them going, oh, but you're a spiritual teacher. Why are you drinking a beer? Why are you I'll totally drink a beer, but I never have more than 2 or 3 and I don't drink every night of the week, And the older I get, the more I feel even too like my stomach and I got to get up to pee a bunch of times, So yeah, any other questions before we get out of here? Really appreciate you guys' attention. Really, really enjoyed this. And it was really amusing to get stuck. I had 2 people in the screen and neither of them were talking to me. Like one dude's daughter had hit the button and I couldn't get them off the screen. So I got to figure out how to, yes, moderators. Thank you. I don't know how to get them. They can help with trolls. I don't think we had any trolls in here today. We had a couple of Christians and they can be a little bit strong with their beliefs, but I don't feel like anybody was disrespectful. So thank you guys for that. It's all about respect. We respect everybody's beliefs. And it really is about accepting each other, loving each other, forgiving each other. Like that is the path forward. I drank at Christmas, literally weakened my energy. Yes, yes, thank you. So on that note, I'm gonna give you guys a little tidbit you might not know. The history of the word alcohol comes from a Middle Eastern word. I'm not sure which dialect, but it's a Middle Eastern word, and the word is al-ghul, al-ghul, and what it means is soul-eating demon. Soul-eating demon. And all plants have consciousness, not just psychedelic plants. All plants have consciousness. And when we ingest those plants, we are affected by that consciousness. And alcohol has a very specific consciousness to it. Pot has a very specific consciousness to it. Cocaine has a very specific consciousness to it. One time I was in an ayahuasca ceremony and someone mentioned heroin, and I started channeling about the poppy plant. And I've never really studied it. I've seen Train Spotting. I've known people that have been recovered from heroin. But I just started channeling about this plant, and I was saying that poppies will give you anything you want in exchange for your soul. Poppies will fill your nervous system with sexual ecstasy, and then you will never be satisfied with anything else again. So each one of these plants, alcohol is called spirits for a reason. Exactly. Thank you. Each one of these plants has consciousness. And if you are going to work with plants, I've been working with plant medicine for many years. I know how powerful they are. I know what incredible teachers they can be when we use them in safe spaces and we use them for spiritual processes and evolution. If you're going to work with plants, please do it consciously. Even tobacco, right? And nicotine, like I've never been able to handle it feels like a speed demon to me, right? But the Native Americans worship nicotine and they used it as a part of their spiritual process for many, many years, right? So it's not about this thing is right or wrong. It's about how do we choose to interact with it? Are we choosing to interact with it consciously to learn and to heal? Or are we using it to distract from our sadness and kind of like cover up everything that sucks? Oh, wow. Christy says, ayahuasca is on my bucket list for 23. It is one of the most profound tools that I have ever touched or tasted. And I truly believe that it is the PR person for Mother Gaia. I believe ayahuasca is the closest you can get to literally talking to Mother Earth herself. It's definitely not for everyone. It is an incredibly frightening, incredibly challenging, incredibly uncomfortable experience. But if you are ready to do your shadow work, and if you are ready to let go of your stories, and you are ready to birth yourself into a new experience in a new dimension, there are very few things that I would recommend more than that substance. And we probably shouldn't say it a lot because, I don't know how the things happen here. I don't want to get blocked or banned or whatever. But yeah, any other questions before we get out of here? My name is Satek Ananda, guys. I'm the executive shaman. And what I do more than anything is I teach people how to forgive themselves, how to accept themselves, and how to love themselves. And I use a lot of different tools for that: meditative tools, hypnotic tools, sound tools, movement and energy tools, Qigong, crystals, obviously. And I do this for a living. So please like and share, follow me if you can. I saw a few people followed today. Thank you. And if you want guidance, just hit me in any of the comments and just say, help me. Just like, I'd like to chat. Like I've started to actually get clients from this platform and I love it. It's like awesome. Like, I don't care about how many people like me. Like I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to actually work with people. And this platform, strangely enough, it seems to be making that happen. So thank you, TikTok, and thank you all. Natalie, you're welcome at my workshop. I think I sent you a DM. I think I sent you a text. So just go back and respond, and we'll chat about it. I would love to have you in a retreat, or I can help you one-on-one through Zoom and phone. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And here we go. This New Year's Eve, right? Like let's set the space for New Year's Eve. Here's what I'm doing today. And I invite you to take today to go inside yourself and really visualize specifically what kind of life you want to step into in this next year. I'm sure you guys have heard about timelines. You can shift timelines. It's much easier to think about shifting timelines into a better version of yourself than like fixing all the things that's wrong with you. And we can do that easier now than ever before because of this ascension process. So I'm spending all day long visualizing exactly what I want for the new year. And it has to do with building retreat and learning communities through this app so that we can learn together digitally and in physical workshops and experiences, as well as a couple of internal lessons that I need. And then I'm going into a plant ceremony tonight, and I'm going to become a new person tomorrow. And I do it every single New Year's. I don't go to parties. I don't drink alcohol. I do plant medicine, and I discover new versions of myself to come into the new year. And I don't know how long I've been doing it, probably 5 or 6 years. And I might do it for the rest of my life. There's no better way to ring it in. So set your intentions. Oh, wait, did you want to talk, Stacy? I'll see. I got a few more minutes in me if you want to hop in here and talk. Otherwise, I'm going to eat me some lunch. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Like and follow, subscribe, share, all that stuff. And if anybody has any ideas about moderators or you want to moderate me or whatever, just reach out and send me a line because I definitely need somebody to help work this stuff like this. Like I've been doing tech stuff for a long time, but it's not really my jam. I love to fake it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Satek Ananda, the Executive Shaman. Happy New Year's, guys. Be safe. Namaste.